everyone, hope you all are having a great day so far. I'm Arita Haque and today is the very first English lesson of this week. And today we will be learning more about adjectives. So without any further delay, let's just get started. Alright, so as you can see, I've written that we form some adjectives from verbs by adding ing or ed endings to them. I'm repeating. We form some adjectives from verbs. Verbs means the doing words, as we all know, by adding ing or ed endings to them. Adjectives ending in ing have different meanings from those ending in ed. I'm repeating. Adjectives ending in ing have different meanings from those ending in ed. This is a very vital point. For example, see, an ing adjective usually describes a thing or a situation, while an ed adjective usually describes how a person or animal feels. I'm repeating. An ing adjective usually describes a thing or a situation, while an ed adjective usually describes how a person or an animal feels. Alright, so now we will move on to some examples. As you can see, I've written here, Mary wore a frightening mask. In this sentence, you can see I've added ing with the word frightened, and that is why it's describing the mask, as I've mentioned in the definition below that ing and ed have two separate meanings. In another example, you can see I've written, John saw the mask. The frightened boy hid behind his mother. And here you can see I've added ed with the word frightened. And that is why it's describing how the boy feels or how the person feels according to the definition that I've mentioned below. So the main thing is that these two have two separate meanings, and that is why you can see that it's describing the mask, and in here it's describing how the person actually feels. An ed adjective can also indicate something is already completed or someone has already done something. I'm repeating, an ed adjective can also indicate something is already completed or someone has already done something. For example, the workers packed the canned fruit in large boxes. The workers packed the canned fruit in large boxes. The fruit have already been put in cans. As you can see that they are saying the canned fruit. This means that the fruit is already inside the can. Alright, as you can see, I've written adjectives ending in ing and ed are formed from verbs in this way. Here you can see how this entire thing actually works. So here are some examples of verbs. The first one is disappoint. And here, in case of adjectives ending in ing, adg is the short form of adjectives. Here we have to add ing with the verb disappointing. So it turns out into disappointing. The next word is encourage. And here, what we have to do is, we have to omit the e at the end of the verb encourage, and then add ing, and then it becomes encouraging. Remember, in case of encourage, we have to omit the e at the end. Another verb is satisfy, and here we do not have to omit anything like this point. We simply have to add ing, and then it becomes satisfying. The fourth one is can. And here what we have to do is we have to add one more n after can. So, and then we have to add ing. So it will be canning, and then it becomes canning. In case of adjectives ending in ed, what we have to do with disappoint is we have to add ed. We do not have to omit anything. We simply have to add ed, and then it becomes disappointed. In case of encourage, what we have to do is we also have to omit the e at the last, because we are eventually adding ed with it, and then it becomes encouraged. If we let the e be here, and then there will be double e's, and we do not want that, and that is why we are omitting the e at the end. Next, moving on to satisfy. Here you can see we are omitting the y at the from the end. We are just cutting this off, okay? And we are adding one. The I remains here. So what we are doing is we are adding I instead of the y plus ed. Okay, as you can see, we are just omitting this, and then we are adding I and ed, and then it becomes satisfied. Moving on to the fourth one, can. We are adding another n plus ed, and then it becomes can. Alright, so now we will get to learn about adjectives of quantity. Many, much, a lot of. First of all, we use many with plural countable nouns. I'm repeating, we use many with plural countable nouns. Second of all, we use much with uncountable nouns. We use much with uncountable nouns. Third of all, we use a lot of with both plural countable nouns and uncountable nouns. I'm repeating, we use a lot of with both plural countable nouns and uncountable nouns. For example, there are many / a lot of vehicles on the highway. Here you can see that a lot of is being used with many. There is much / a lot of commotion in front of the mall. It's also being used with much. So it means that it's being used with plural countable nouns as well as uncountable nouns. Much. We usually use much with uncountable nouns in questions and negative statements in these ways. Number 8, is / was means is or was plus there plus much plus uncountable noun. Example, is there much traffic on the road? I'm asking a question. Number B, there plus isn't. Isn't means is not, or wasn't, was not. There plus isn't or wasn't plus much plus uncountable noun. There, example, there isn't much traffic on the road. So it's a negative sentence. Another one would be subject plus doesn't or don't or didn't plus base form of verb plus much plus uncountable noun. Subject plus doesn't or don't or didn't plus base form of verb plus much plus uncountable noun. For example, we don't have much time left. Now moving on to a few, a little. We use a few with plural countable nouns. We use a few with plural countable nouns. We use a little with uncountable nouns. Example, I'll finish the ironing in a few minutes. It's countable. I need a little help from you. So it's uncountable. Some, any. We use some and any with both plural countable and uncountable nouns in these ways. Number 8, some usually in positive statements or questions. Example, Dad owns some books published before World War II. Another example, Does or doesn't the cat want some meal? It's a question. Any. Any is usually used in negative statements or questions. For example, I don't own any books published before World War II. So it's a negative sentence. Number 2, is or isn't there any milk for the